What are the names and roles of the characters in the 2025 JAMB novel, Lekki Headmaster by Kabir Alabi Garba? In this post, I will share the names of the characters in the book, the roles they played to make the story plot go smoothly, and their full details, which will help you get acquainted with each of them. Names of characters and roles in Lekki Headmaster. 1. Bepo Adewale Bepo. Role: Principal of Stardom Schools. Who is Bepo Adewale Bepo? Bepo is the central character of the story. He is a dedicated and compassionate principal who has worked at Stardom Schools for over 2 decades. He is passionate about education, has a strong connection with his students, and is well respected by both staff and parents. Throughout the story, Bepo navigates various personal and professional challenges, including dealing with a demanding school community, handling difficult parent relationships, and ultimately preparing to leave Nigeria for the UK. His leadership is characterized by humor, empathy, and a strong commitment to his school's growth. He is also an advocate for cultural preservation and development, often fostering activities that celebrate Nigerian heritage. While the novel did not explicitly state Bepo's religion, his values and leadership approach reflect discipline, integrity, and fairness, which align with his personal beliefs. So, it could be deduced that Bepo is a Christian. 2. Mrs. Bepo Adewale. Role: Bepo Adewale's wife. Who is Mrs. Bepo Adewale? Bepo Adewale's wife, Mrs. Bepo Adewale, lives in London. She plays a significant role in the story, especially when Bepo faces emotional challenges. Her presence and their relationship add depth to Bepo's character and his personal struggles. While she resides in London, she is a supportive and influential character in the Lekki Headmaster. Though distant from Bepo, her emotional presence significantly impacts his life. As Bepo navigates the challenges of managing Stardom Schools, she provides unwavering support and encouragement. Their relationship is marked by mutual respect and love, adding depth to Bepo's character. Her role highlights the importance of personal connections and emotional support in overcoming professional obstacles. Mrs. Bepo Adewale's character emphasizes the balance between personal and professional life, showcasing the strength of her bond with Bepo. 3. Mrs. Ibidun Gloss. Role: Managing Director, MD, of Stardom Schools. Who is Mrs. Ibidun? Mrs. Ibidun is the MD of Stardom Schools and the daughter of the school's founder, Chief David H. She is a strong and authoritative figure who values discipline and high standards at the school. She plays a significant role in Bepo's farewell, acknowledging his hard work and dedication over the years. Her relationship with Bepo is one of mutual respect, and she recognizes his contributions to the success of the school. She also expresses sorrow at his departure and hopes that he will maintain ties with the school from the UK. 4. Mr. Jeremi Amos. Role: Accountant at Stardom Schools. Who is Mr. Jeremi Amos? Mr. Amos is a staff member at Stardom Schools, serving as the accountant. He is involved in the school's financial matters and helps manage the school's finances, including overseeing loans for staff members through the school's cooperative society. He is often seen in meetings with the principal and MD, and he plays a role in the farewell events for Bepo. 5. Mrs. Grace Apeh. Role: Vice Principal of Stardom Schools. Who is Mrs. Grace Apeh? Mrs. Apeh is the Vice Principal at Stardom Schools. She is a key staff member who supports the school's administration and often assists with leadership duties in the absence of the principal. She is part of the farewell team for Bepo and addresses the students during the Monday assembly, reassuring them about the changes in leadership. 6. Banky. Role: a student at Stardom schools. Who is Banky? Banky is an assertive and highly competitive student at Stardom schools. His rivalry with Tosh intensifies during the prefect elections, reaching a breaking point when he publicly insults Tosh's father. This act not only fuels tensions among students but also draws in their parents, highlighting the emotional stakes of the school's leadership contest. Banky embodies the passionate and sometimes reckless nature of youthful competition, illustrating the challenges of personal ambition in a school setting. 7. Chief Jide Ogba. Role: Tosh's father. Who is Chief Jide Ogba? He is Tosh's father and a man striving to rebuild his reputation after being acquitted of embezzlement charges. His past catches up with him at a point of controversy during the school elections when Banky weaponizes it against Tosh. Chief Ogba's character serves as a reflection of societal struggles with justice, redemption, and the lingering shadows of past accusations. 8. Mrs. Ogunwale and Family. Role: Bepo's landlord. Who is Mrs. Ogunwale? Mrs. Ogunwale is Bepo's landlord who supports Bepo at any point and in any way she can. Her family members include Jide, who play a crucial role in his journey. As Bepo prepares to leave Nigeria, they offer emotional and practical support, showcasing the strength of communal bonds. Their kindness and encouragement in the novel reflect the deep value of neighborly relationships and the importance of standing by one another during significant life transitions. 9. Mr. Audu. Role: teacher at Stardom schools. Who is Mr. Audu? Mr. Audu is a teacher at Stardom schools and is known for his humor and lightheartedness. He makes jokes about Bepo's departure and his own plans to borrow a leaf from Bepo's exemplary work ethic. Audu is part of the farewell team and brings a playful element to the atmosphere with his jokes. He expresses his excitement about possibly traveling abroad and promises not to cry like some people. 10. Mr. Ike. Role: games master and referee for the farewell novelty match. Who is Mr. Ike? Mr. Ibe is responsible for organizing the novelty match between the students and staff. He plays the role of the referee during the match and is part of the farewell events. His humorous interference in the match, ensuring the staff win, adds a light-hearted touch to the proceedings. 11. Mrs. Ignatius. Role: parent of a student at Stardom schools. Who is Mrs. Ignatius? Mrs. Ignatius is one of the parents at Stardom. She has a complicated relationship with Bepo, as she often shares personal matters with him, including issues concerning her marriage. In Chapter 4, she contacts Bepo late at night to discuss marital issues related to her husband, Ibe Ignatius. Her situation is significant in the context of the narrative, as it brings to light the personal side of Bepo's interactions with the parents of students. 12. Mr. Ibe Ignatius. Role: husband of Mrs. Ignatius, father of favor. Who is Mr. Ibe Ignatius? Mr. Ibe Ignatius is married to Mrs. Ignatius, and their family is involved in a difficult situation when it's revealed that he is not the biological father of one of their children, Favor. He is described as a manager in an oil company, and his desire to relocate to the UK for better opportunities is a central part of the family's narrative. His issues with his wife and their family's visa application are pivotal to Mrs. Ignatius' calls to Bepo. 13. Mr. Isoro. Role: government teacher at Stardom schools. Who is Mr. Isoro? Mr. Isoro is a teacher at Stardom, known for his deep tribal marks, which make him a subject of fear for some students, especially Bibi. His nickname, Mr. Owala, reflects his distinct appearance, and his interactions with students, especially Bibi, lead to his eventual transfer to another part of the school after Bibi had a nightmare about him. His role adds a layer of humor and tension to the school environment. 14. Mr. Alabi. Role: teacher at Stardom schools. Who is Mr. Alabi? In The Lekki Headmaster, by Kabir Alabi Garba, Mr. Alabi is an important character who plays a crucial role in assisting Mr. Adeyemi, the protagonist. He is one of the dedicated teachers at the school who works closely with Mr. Adeyemi to enhance the school's conditions and help the students thrive. Mr. Alabi is portrayed as a committed, resourceful, and loyal individual. He frequently offers valuable insights and support to Mr. Adeyemi as they tackle the challenges of running the school and implementing reforms. His partnership with Mr. Adeyemi underscores the importance of teamwork and dedication in achieving their shared objectives for the school. 15. Mrs. Mary Ladele. Role: parent of students at Stardom schools. Who is Mrs. Mary Ladele? Mrs. Ladele is the mother of Tim and Love. She is portrayed as a woman who watches a Nollywood movie at home while dealing with family matters. She is mentioned in Chapter 4 as part of the school community, highlighting her role as a parent involved with the school. 16. Mr. Fafore. Role: English teacher at Stardom schools. Who is Mr. Fafore? Mr. Fafore is an English teacher at Stardom, known for his punctuality and dedication. However, his career is threatened when he is accused of making a grammatical error that leads to his eventual sacking. Fafore's situation reflects the tension between the expectations of the management and the reality of working at the school. He becomes a scapegoat for an issue that was blown out of proportion, which leaves him in a vulnerable position. 17. Mr. Ogo. Role: parent of a student at Fruitful Future School. Who is Mr. Ogo? Mr. Ogo is a parent who once proposed a spiritual ritual to boost the enrollment at the Fruitful Future School where Bepo worked before joining Stardom. He offered to perform a ritual for a fee, claiming it would bring in more students. His actions, as well as his later involvement in a fraudulent scheme, highlight the moral dilemmas and risks that Bepo faced in his earlier career. 18. Tai. Role: passport agent. Who is Tai? Tai is an agent Bepo hires to help expedite his passport renewal process in Ibadan. Although working outside the official procedures, Tai plays a crucial role in helping Bepo get his passport renewed quickly, reflecting the corruption and inefficiencies that often plague government systems. 19. Chief David H. Role: founder of Stardom Schools, father of Mrs. Ibidun Gloss. Who is Chief David H? Chief David H is the founder of Stardom Schools and the father of Mrs. Ibidun Gloss. He is revered by both staff and students, and it is his judgment that first hired Bepo when he joined the school. His faith in Bepo's abilities is reflected in his daughter's speech during Bepo's farewell, highlighting his lasting influence on the school's ethos and legacy. 20. Mr. Guta. Role: parent of 2 students at Stardom schools. Who is Mr. Guta? Mr. Guta is the father of 2 students at Stardom, Dora in SSS2 and Nicholas in JSS2. He becomes involved in the conflict surrounding the election for the social prefect, where Banky makes a derogatory remark about him. Mr. Guta is particularly sensitive about the mention of his past, which includes his time in prison for alleged misappropriation of a government contract. This issue sparks a legal dispute with Banky's parents after a heated exchange at the school, resulting in a prolonged legal battle. 21. Tosh, Ogba Jr. Role: student at Stardom schools. Who is Tosh? Tosh is a student in SSS2 at Stardom who is involved in the election drama with Banky. Tosh is sensitive to the insult made by Banky, who refers to him as the son of an ex-convict. This remark escalates into a rivalry between the two students, with parents getting involved in the dispute. The tension between Banky and Tosh reflects the personal grudges carried into the school community by the students' families. 22. Jide. Role: grandchild of Bepo's landlord. Who is Jide? Jide is the grandson of Bepo's landlord and landlady, Mr. and Mrs. Ogunwale. He is particularly fond of Bepo and expresses excitement at the thought of traveling with him to London. He represents the bond Bepo shares with the people around him, especially his landlord's family, and shows how deeply Bepo's presence has affected the local community. Jide is part of the farewell moment, where Bepo is surrounded by his landlord's family before leaving. 23. Kemi. Role: grandchild of Bepo's landlord. Who is Kemi? Kemi is Jide's younger sister, part of the Ogunwale family. She adds a humorous touch to the farewell moment when she jokingly mentions Joppa in reference to Bepo leaving. Like her brother, she has developed a connection with Bepo over the years, and her innocent remark adds a light-hearted moment to the otherwise emotional farewell. 24. Angel. Role: the chapel prefect at Stardom schools. Who is Angel? She is one of the best and decent students at Stardom schools who served as the chapel prefect. 25. White airline official. Role: airline staff at the airport. Who is the white airline official? The white airline official is a staff member of the airline that Bepo is traveling with. He plays a brief but important role in helping Bepo come to his senses after he wakes up from a disturbing dream about the transatlantic slave trade. The official is bewildered by Bepo's outburst but assists him in preparing to board the flight. 26. Security personnel at the airport. Role: airport staff. Who is the security personnel at the airport? The security personnel at the airport are the ones who respond to Bepo's outburst after his dream. They help calm him down, guiding him to board the flight and ensuring that everything is in order for his departure. They are part of the scene that highlights the emotional turbulence Bepo faces as he prepares to leave the country. 27. Director at Bizway Group of Schools. Role: Director of Bizway Group of Schools. Who is the director at Bizway Group of Schools? The director of Bizway Group of Schools is Bepo's former employer. He is described as a figure who values spiritual undertones and makes decisions based on what he perceives as divine guidance. The director is initially dismissive of Bepo's concern over the school's name and deflects the issue with a belief that the name was spiritually inspired. He also plays a part in an unsettling encounter when Bepo stumbles upon a ritualistic act involving the bearing of a cow. 28. Mr. Ejimiko. Role: Director at Bizway Group of Schools. Who is Mr. Ejimiko? Mr. Miko is the director of Bizway Group of Schools and is the one who dismisses Bepo's attempt to correct the school's name. He is characterized by a laid-back attitude towards certain issues, including grammar and the school's name. He is also shown to have a somewhat flippant sense of humor and is not open to changes that don't align with his spiritual beliefs. 29. Immigration Officer in Ibadan. Role: Immigration Official at the Passport Office in Ibadan. Who is the Immigration Officer in Ibadan? The Immigration Officer is part of the process that Bepo goes through to renew his passport. He works with Tai, the agent, and helps validate Bepo's national identity number, NIN, and facilitates the passport renewal process. His role demonstrates the inefficiencies in the Nigerian bureaucracy and the way some individuals work around the system. 30. NIN Officer. Role: National Identity Number Official. Who is the NIN Officer? The NIN Officer plays a role in helping Bepo validate his national identity number, which is a crucial step in his passport renewal process. Bepo struggles with the network glitches and delays at the NIN office, which causes further frustration in his already stressful journey to get his documents in order for his relocation. 31. White Man in Bepo's Dream. Role: Character in Bepo's Dream. Who is the white man in Bepo's dream? The white man appears in Bepo's dream about the slavery relics at the Heritage Slavery Museum in Badagry. He directs Bepo to enter the slave ship, symbolizing the painful historical reality of the transatlantic slave trade. The white man's appearance is part of a symbolic and emotional moment that reflects Bepo's internal conflict as he prepares to leave Nigeria. 32. The Students. Role: Students at Stardom Schools, Lekki. Who are the students? The students of Stardom Schools represent the bright future of Nigeria. Through their collective engagements in debates, cultural performances, and leadership contests, they exhibit intelligence, creativity, and determination. Their relationship with Mr. Bepo also reflects on the type of mutual relationship which should exist between students and teachers.